Hey ALAA family, UAW International President Shawn Fain here. It's my honor to address you, the membership of UAW Local 2325, on this day of your bargaining convention. When I took office, our union made it clear to the bosses and the ruling class that we were going to fight like never before. We were going to become a union that bargained record agreements, that struck when necessary, organized the unorganized, and united the fight for the entire working class. ALAA is an example of this vision in practice. All of you have done something remarkable over the past few years. Less than 10 years ago, your sector had only one unionized organization in the city, the Legal Aid Society. But you all committed to organize at a record pace. I want to shout out the great work of all the organizers, leaders, and organizing committees over the last 5 years that have changed the history of legal services in the city and have made an amazing difference in our union. Your local's grown and built power, but simply winning elections and getting a first contract wasn't the end. You also look forward with a vision. You aligned your contracts to expire at the same time on July 1st, 2025. And now you'll have a ton of power to win life-changing and industry-setting contracts. As you know, the UAW International has called on the rest of the labor movement to align contracts from May Day 2028. The purpose in that call is that we have more power if we're working together and striking together. If we want to win groundbreaking standards of living, real retirement security, universal health care, and a just transition to a livable planet that works for working class people, then we're going to have to be ready to organize, strike, and unite the working class. I want to also express my solidarity and support to your local against the witch hunt being led by the bosses and politicians, especially on the House Committee on Education and the Workplace, and their chief scab, Virginia Fox. ALAA members have been a crucial part of the effort within our union to come out for a ceasefire. You all have helped move our union in the right direction. The UAW stands by its call for a ceasefire, and we stand with our members who, from California to New York, have faced retaliation and intimidation for their speech and organizing peaceful protest. My team has been and will continue to support your local as you face down these attacks. You are all on the front lines of New York's criminal justice crisis, the housing crisis, the immigration crisis, and we know that the courts in the city would not work without you. That is the source of your power. You make justice run, and you have the ability to shut this system down. When the working class is incarcerated, deported, or evicted, you're on the front lines fighting back. But these fights can't be won in the courtroom alone. Legal services have a proud history of bargaining and striking for your clients and your communities, not just your own working conditions. Your working conditions affect your clients' living conditions. In the 1970s, you struck for a better system of representation of our clients. In 2018, you staged a walkout to kick ICE out of the courts during Trump's attack on our immigrant family. You've continuously fought for pay parity for all legal services workers and uplifted the most vulnerable and most exploited among you. Just last month, the proud workers at MFJ and Local 2320 struck and won justice for their membership and raised the floor for non-attorney staff to $60,000. Management continuously said they couldn't and wouldn't do this, but the power of their strike forced them to concede. We know that we cannot trust management to fix our problems or our community's problems on their own. In fact, they fight you over every single thing. Every win you've had in your proud history is a result of your fight. If management cared about your clients, they'd join you in these fights. Instead of listening to their workers and clients, they put the interest of millionaires, hedge funds, and big law over yours. Instead of fighting for justice of working people everywhere, they come after your members who are bravely standing up for a ceasefire and Palestine. Instead of paying workers a living wage, they give themselves bonuses while our members struggle to get by with the rising cost of living. Instead of improving the quality of service and improving funding for your work, they force you all to take on unmanageable caseloads that make your members burn out and leave this line of work. For over 50 years, you've fought for the most marginalized New Yorkers, but our political leaders, from the governor to the mayor, have continued the same campaign to demonize workers, the poor, and immigrants. They want to jail, evict, and fearmonger their way out of the crisis of inequality. But we know that the only way to end the crisis is to build worker power and fight for justice. You're on the front lines of the fight defending the working class of New York, and you have the power to change the course of history through your contract campaigns. I listen to the talk about border security, and it's garbage meant to divide the working class by race and nationality. People trying to cross a border because they're trying to find some semblance of a life are not a threat to us. When I see people fleeing poverty south of our border, I see my family. All four of my grandparents came from the South during the Great Depression. To say our family came from poverty is an understatement. I look at people trying to cross the border and I see my grandparents. The only difference is that my grandparents were born in the United States and they migrated north to find a life. Immigrant workers are part of our labor family, and I, as your international president, am proud to stand with you in your fight for justice. During our stand-up strike, we won historic contracts because we had a strike-ready membership. But we also learned that the union density is our destiny. Our struggle continues. We need to win pensions and retirement security. We need to win stronger job security. And we need to continue the fight for a just transition in the auto sector. And the key to winning those things is organizing the South and the non-union auto plants where auto workers are standing up. Union Family and ALAA, you are in the driver's seat. You've achieved 99% density in your sector. The only questions for you this weekend are, how will you use this power? What will be the historic gains that will come from this historic campaign? And more importantly, what are you willing to do to win justice? Over the next few days, you'll be considering a broad range of resolutions that will determine the future of legal services in New York City. You're going to stand up for dignity and retirement security. You're standing up for your fair share. You're going to be standing up against student debt. And you'll be standing up for work-life balance. Working class people deserve to have a life outside of work. Your massive workloads reflect the corruption at the root of our society that tells people that they have to work themselves to death instead of pursuing their interest and time with their families and loved ones. At every step of this convention, of your contract campaign and your strike, if it's necessary, you'll have the support of 1 million active and retired members of the UAW. If management doesn't meet your reasonable demands and forces you out on strike, we'll be there on the picket line with you come July 1st, 2025. The ball is in management's court. Management likes to lecture to you about your ethical duty to your clients, but no one knows that duty better than your membership. As a union, you understand that your duty is to fight for justice for the entire working class. Management wants to dictate what justice looks like, but you're the ones in the courts, in the hospitals, and in the jails. These organizations and the New York court system cannot run without you. In 2025, you'll show management and show New York City just how seriously you take that duty. Solidarity forever.